It always takes me so long to get started. G'day, I'm Kylie G. Welcome to my little corner of the interweb where I talk about all things knitting. Today is Sunday the 4th of December. It is a hot, sunny summer's day here in tropical far north Queensland, Australia, where I live with my tradie husband, my obligatory knitter's cat, Bob, and I knit with wool. So that makes me probably one of the strangest knitters in the world. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoy the content. I've got some interesting and rather controversial things to talk about today. And if you're a returning viewer, thanks so much. And thank you for the nitty conversations and the comments and the likes and the subscribers. My goodness, I'm a bee's breath off 1,000 subscribers, which kind of blows my mind. So I'm busy collating or curating a very cool 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So, and I'll share some of that with you in a little while when I talk about shopping. I have done a fair bit of shopping. I've got a finished object. I've got an almost finished object. I've got 3 new whips and a very, very, I don't know what you're going to call it. My M-cow, my Stephen West M-cow. It's in the naughty corner at the minute. Anyway, first things first, I'm actually not wearing any knits today because it is summer and it's dang hot out there. Very, very hot. I have finished probably the most bizarre finished object for the tropical North Queensland, and it's long, it's woolly, and it's fluffy. And I have no clue when I'm ever going to wear it. But let me just lean over and grab it because I've popped it over here. Excuse me. I may or may not edit that out. We're off to a barbecue this afternoon for some friends who are moving down south. And I don't know whether I'm going to have time to edit as well as I would normally would, because I've got to go to work tomorrow. So anyway, this is my petite knit fancy AF cardigan. That's actually not the pattern. The pattern name is down here. I have knit this in Nundle Woolen Mill alpaca, merino, silk and alpaca, 4-ply or fingering weight, held with a silk kid mohair in the white, in a white colour, creamy colour. So let me pop this on for 30 seconds to show you. Oh, how nice is this? Now, if I lived where most of you all live, it's got pockets. It's got pockets. First time I've ever done pockets, and you know, I actually haven't steamed blocked it yet or taken out the decrease pins on the sleeves. I knit it to pattern. I probably knit it longer than the pattern called for. But what I will say is it's so cozy. No buttons, no buttonholes. It's just a long, simple, fancy AF cardigan because of the, and I'm calling it fancy AF because of the yarn content. It took me a little while to knit because I had to start again. There was that situation that happened where I switched out the mohair. I just picked up another like light coloured mohair, and it wasn't until I'd sort of gotten well into knitting the newer mohair held double, I realised that there was a stark difference. I might put a picture here of that mess. So I had to start again. So I'd actually split for sleeves and had knit a good chunk of a sleeve, and then it ripped back and started again. So kudos for me for hanging in there. The Kylie of many years ago would not have done that. It would have got balled up in a bag and thrown in the back of the cupboard and never seen the light of day again. But I persevered because I really wanted this finished object. That being said, it's an awful lot of knitting. It's an awful lot of knitting because it's hard to show you, and I'll get some finished object photos to pop onto my Instagram. I actually owe Instagram and Ravelry some finished object photos, but you will see, this comes down to my knees. So I'm going to take it off because it is hot as Hades. So let me talk to you about the pattern itself. Petite Knit is a wonderful designer. She designs really classic style knits that will fit into pretty much anybody's wardrobe. And what I really like about her patterns is the yarn is the star of the show, not the pattern. So it's and they're just classic silhouettes. So really, really easy to fit into any wardrobe, as I said. What I will say about her patterns is there's an assumption of knowledge. There's an assumption that you know what you're knitting and you know how to knit. I wouldn't call her patterns necessarily beginner friendly. There's an assumed knowledge, and that's because it's probably, you know, for where she's from, which I think is Norway. If I'm wrong, I'm really sorry. But a cold European country where knitting is part of the culture. So there is an assumed knowledge because everybody knows how to knit. So that being said though, I would not say that it's a hard knit. It's just not your ideal first top-down raglan sleeve cardi. Would I need it again? Probably not, because I don't need another one. If I did need another long cardigan, I think there's lots of other lovely knits out there. It's not, but never say never, right? Because I should just never say never, because I always break promises to myself. So I was on a yarn diet this year too. Okay, that went as good as the diet I went on. Anyway, first finished object, only finished object, but a lovely, lovely knit, and really pleased to have it off my needles before it gets way too hot up here in the tropics, because we're heading in for some warm weather. So that's my first finished object, and I haven't even steam blocked it yet. I think I'll steam block that one. I don't think I'll wet block it. Okay, yeah, another project that you've seen before that I'm making some very good progress on. This was my travel knitting. Recently we went to a family wedding in New South Wales, so that involved planes, trains and automobiles, really just planes and automobiles, but there was a bus. Yes, a plane and a bus and cars. And we went and stayed at my daughter's farm. If you haven't seen the photo on my Instagram, please subscribe to my Instagram here. This is where you can find me on Instagram. They've moved to a gorgeous new farm, 5,000 acres, under wheat and cattle, and the farmhouse is circa 1880s. I'll put some in. Anyway, more of that later, maybe, if I remember to tell you, but I might pop some film in the end of my daughter's gorgeous home. So this was my plain knitting because it's just, you know, potato chip knitting. So what is this? This is the half and half triangle wrap from Pearl Soho. It is a free pattern. Every knitter and their mother have made one, and if you haven't made one, what are you waiting for? I have knit mine. The recommended yarn is linen, Pearl Soho linen quill, which apparently is lovely yarn. I am yet to press buy. I've had it in my cart many a time and haven't pressed buy yet. I don't know why. Because I probably only knit a half and half wrap with it. Maybe. Anyway, let's not analyse why I haven't bought something. God, I just thank my lucky stars I haven't bought something. Oh, shoot. Drop some stitches. So, what am I knitting this out of? I'm knitting this out of Holst yarn in the Coast base, which is a wool and cotton blend, perfect for up here. It is what I would call a light fingering to lace weight. It is thin. Up until recently, I have only ever knit with it held single, but it's just a workhorse yarn. I buy it in large cones. I've got one here. This is black, obviously not the colours I'm using, but I buy it in the cones because it makes me feel like a real knitter. And it's an inexpensive way to buy a lot of yarn because I don't have enough. Anyway, I'm yet to finish one of these cones. So this is the cream that I've been using. I think it's called Ecru. Yes, Ecru. And the other one is the powder colourway. So they are the two colourways. This is my second half and half wrap, triangle wrap. And it's nice, lazy knitting at the end of a busy day. And the finished object is just lovely. It takes me a long time to knit them. I'm not fast knitting these because I don't tend to be a monogamous knitter with them. But really happy with that. I'd like to say I'm nearly there, but these are the rows that actually take the longest to knit. So hopefully by the next podcast, which I promise will be in 2 weeks. Because I've had a couple of people wanting them a little bit more regularly, which is so super flattering. Now this is actually living in a new acquisition that I'll share with you now. This is a Joji Locatelli leather bag. How lovely is that? It's huge. It's massive. I love Joji bags. They're my favourite. And this one's got pockets. I've got a thing about pockets at the minute. It's got one pocket. It's just an elegant, timeless bag that will last forever and ever. So there you go. That's my first whip. Okay. What will I talk about next? Okay, excuse me. Just ducking down here. So I had a problem. This bag here is actually a wet clothes bag, just from Kmart. I saw it and I'm a sucker for stripes and blue and white stripes. I just love them. But I think it was $4, $5 or something. I just grabbed it. That'll make a lovely project bag because I don't have enough of those either. I've got more than I need. I need to rotate them to use them a lot. So what is this here, apart from a hot mess? This is Joji. Speaking of Joji, this is Joji Locatelli's 3-colour cashmere cowl. Now, I cast this on because I was cross with another one of my projects, and that I'll talk about in a minute. But I just wanted something just to sit and knit, and the knitting on the coast, the Holst yarn and the coast is lovely, but because it is cotton, it doesn't have the same sort of hand as wool does. So I just wanted to be knitting with wool again, and I'd finished my fancy AF cardigan, and I just wanted something. So I cast this on a Sunday or two ago, and in between swatching for 2 new projects. But this is just lovely, so lovely in fact, this yarn, that I immediately jumped on and bought more. So believe it or not, this cream colour is a bare wool, and it is Knit Picks Capretta, which is a fingering weight 400. Okay, the old lady is now in the room and needs glasses. 460 yards for 100 grams. So it's a generous skein. So what I would call a fine fingering, fingering. And this is superwash. This is a merino cashmere nylon. 80% merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. So I've actually ordered more. It is so lovely to knit with. I just need a cardigan in it. So I've ordered more. So that's the bare colour, or the creamy colour. The grey here is it's not in here. Oh, Kylie. Anyway, it is another, I'll put the name of it here because I bought it from Knit Picks, and if I can't find it, I apologise in advance. This is a nice heathery, not sure if you can see, heathery grey. It's got a small halo to it, very soft. It's a super wash, and I got it from, it's another Knit Picks one, and I just had it in my stash. So I went stash diving and did a little bit of knitting. Now the third colour that I'm going to use, I think might be this really light pink, or this super bright orange. Ooh, that looks good, doesn't it? This is a plucky knitter. Orange, might pop that in there. I knit with pink so much, Orange might be nice. Anyway, we'll see. So really loving this, and I just pick it up and knit on it when I don't want to be thinking too much, and yeah, just knitting. Really love this. This is the first one of these I've knit. I can't believe I've not knit one before. So yeah. If you noticed, I've had my hair cut. very new. Anyway, I digress. Still getting used to it, to be fair. So that's whip number 2. Another new cast on. And this one has been sitting in my queue for a very long time. I've got this sitting in another hoey bag. Isn't that delightful? This was a second. So I can't work out why it was a second. It's a little rough here, but who cares? It's leather. It's gorgeous. So this here I'm knitting is, oh, let me get all this stuff out of the way. You wouldn't believe the mess around me on the floor here. It's quite frightening. It's a colour work cardi. Now, this is a woolly wool. I'm knitting this in Rowan felted tweed in the stone colourway. I think this is called stone. And this gorgeous blue. So the blue is the main. I'll put the colour here if actually I think it might be cornflower. I could be wrong. It's colourway number. I think Rowan give them numbers, don't they? It's shade number 173. And the stone colour with these gorgeous flecks of blue in it. And these have got flecks of brown and the tweedy black, and it's just lovely. This is shade number 177. 173, 177. Aren't they a lovely combination? Isn't that a lovely combination? So what am I knitting, you ask? I am knitting a Marie Wallin pattern. My first one ever. And it's a challenge. I'm not a big colour work knitter, but that's something I wanted to fix. So I'm knitting the Amaryllis cardigan by Marie Wallin. This went onto my queue years ago. That's it there. Might actually pop a picture in here. This popped onto my queue years ago when Fruity Knitting, Andrea from Fruity Knitting knit one, and just a stunning knit. So I've always been a very adventurous knitter, so I popped it onto my queue years ago and bought the yarn, and it's been sitting in my stash. And the Net Chat girls, the Net Chat Cafe, are running a Marie Wallin knit along next year. They sort of started talking about it. It got me thinking. I've mastered lace, or not mastered it. I think that's probably that's an overstatement. Mastered. Do you ever master knitting? Jeepers. I'm relatively confident when it comes to lace, so long as it's not lace, you know. Look, I love knitting lace. You've just got to be quite focused. It's not potato chippy knitting. Anyway, I've knit lace, and I'm happy to take on lace projects. That's probably a better way to put it. I'm happy to take on lace projects. But colourwork's not something I've done a lot of. So I thought, I'll just knit back. It's on my list. I've got the yarn. Now, how gorgeous is that? This is, I figured I'd start on a sleeve. Because I got gauge. I had to go down a couple of needle sizes though. This is a very dense fabric. This is an 8-ply and it's knit on a very little needle. Sock needle, I think. 2.5, I think I'm knitting it on. because I'm going to have so much use. I'm really going to get wear out of a wool, non-superwash wool colour work cardigan in tropical far north Queensland. Not. So this will be one for when I visit my family down south in the winter. So, but look at that colour work. How clever am I? I'm a little bit happy with that. Now the wonderful, the not so wonderful thing about this pattern is that I'm doing colour work on both the knit and the purl side. So not only, I'm an idiot, not only did I pick a Marie Wallin pattern that I'm probably not going to get a lot of wear out of, but I've not done a lot of colour work, and now I'm doing colour work on both the purl, the knit and the purl side. It's a challenge, let me say. Anyway, I'm really happy with it though. I'm now just into the sleeve, just into the, and it's plain all the way up. Just plain knit, 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 knit. That blue is such a lovely blue though. I'm actually leaning towards blue a fair bit at the minute. So really loving that. It's another long-term knit, but hey, you know, I don't mind. I don't mind. So that's another whip. That will take me a while, so it may not make an appearance every episode. So that's one finished object, 3 whips. Here's whip number 4. Living in another hoagie bag. There's a theme. There is a theme. Now, I am knitting the Faye top here by somebody, Lynn. The pattern's actually out by my chair, so in the lounge room. So I cast this on last night, so it's a baby. I'm in the short row sections at the back in a mess. How delightful is this colour? I'll be honest, true confession times now, I cast this on 5 times. It'd basically be finished if I knew how to knit. But I kept making mistakes and the count was off, and then I thought, oh, I'll just fudge that, and then that got up my nose and bugged me because I thought, oh, I don't want to just make it work, I want it to be stunning. So I'd rip it out and I'd start again, and I'd rip it out and I'd start again. Anyway, it's not a knit for the faint of heart. So what am I knitting it in? So this is the top here. How pretty. Isn't it gorgeous? I would like to have this finished for Christmas Day. Can you hold me account here? What do you reckon? Anyway, what am I knitting it in? Holstgarn Coast. You haven't seen this one before, have you? No, because this is another new acquisition. This is in the candy colourway. It's this gorgeous watermelon colour. Now, you may wonder why I've got two balls. I actually wound some of this off the cone and I'm holding it double. So that makes it a sport to DK weight. The top calls for a DK weight. I had to go down 2 needle sizes to get gauge, and I swatched for this and then ordered the yarn online. And I'm really, I think it's just going to be lovely. It's just long and flowy, and I wear it with, you know, some, I don't know what I'll wear it with, pants, jeans, denim shorts, maybe Christmas Day, because I have such swart legs that I look great in shorts. Anyway, it'll be hot. So I'm really enjoying that, and actually now I've pulled it out of the bag, I just want to sit and knit on it. So clearly this is my flavour of the moment, and would like to have it ready for Christmas Day. So that gives me 21 days, 3 weeks to get, 3 weeks to get it finished. And it's basically a sport weight DK, so yeah, shouldn't take me too long. Loving that. Not an easy knit, not one for the faint-hearted. As I said, I cast it on 5 times, and the pattern is line by line. It's a combination of written and charted, so it's, yeah, a bit of it. It's not a kick back and watch Yellowstone kind of knit. It's a concentrate on what you're doing knit. Which brings me to the most controversial thing I'm going to talk about, is this bloody Stephen West MCal. Now, I haven't looked at this project since I stuffed it away in this bag, Lubby and May bag, because I'm knitting this out of Lubby and May yarn. Now 5 skeins of Lubby and May Cashmerino yarn for me is an expensive buy. It's an indulgent buy, and I'm fortunate that I get to do that. And I know that I'm really lucky that I have a nice budget to spend on yarn. But I'm starting to resent the 5 skeins of yarn I've bought for this project, because you know what? I don't think it's I don't think the finished object is pretty. I've seen pretty ones, absolutely. I may change my mind when I open this, because I haven't actually opened this bag for a couple of weeks, because I'm just that ticked off with it. Which makes me sad, because I really tried to love it. Anyway, let's see what the reaction is, hey? It just doesn't bring joy. It just doesn't spark joy. And you know what I say, if you're not loving it, stop knitting it. I mean, look, that brings joy. This colour, this blue is phenomenal. Phenomenal. You know what I'm thinking, don't you? What do you reckon? Let me know in the comments. Cashmerino, 3 colour cashmere cow. Do my 3rd colour, should it be this one, the blue, the orange, or the baby pink? Oh, it should be easier to hold than this. Actually, those 3 look pretty good together too, don't they? Anyway, I digress. So all that to say, you can probably tell I'm thinking that this beast of a project is going to get frogged. I have knit so much on this. Oh look, and that's fallen out. My needle that was holding that's fallen out on that side. What do you think? Do I frog it or finish it? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and will it be pretty when I'm done? The trouble is, if I were to frog it, and this is why I probably haven't frogged it yet, is there will be a lot of short pieces of yarn, and reusing the yarn will be difficult because of the nature of this knit. It's a weird kink. It just needs a steam, I suppose. Oh, actually, it got a steam there to keep me going, I think. So it's been steamed. This section's been steamed, but the bottom hasn't. You can see where it crinkles. Oh, I don't know. Suffice to say, this will be the last Stephen West MCAL I do when it's still a mystery. The reason I'm a little ticked off is it's about $250 Australian worth of yarn for me. And I was indulgent and I got, you know, Labby Anime Cashmerino, and I know, and then I couldn't decide on what colour combination to get, so I bought two. And look, I love the yarn. I'm not sorry I've got the yarn. I kind of resent putting it into this hot mess of something that it's not my wheelhouse. You know, it's not a colour or a style that I could comfortably sit into my wardrobe. It's just, there's not a lot of classic about it. Again, I think it is Stephen West being crazy because that's his brand, and more power to him. There are people who love it and who are using this knit as a sample, end of year sampler, or they're using it to learn new skills. And there are some gorgeous ones out there, and there are some pretty, not pretty ones too. This one included. This is not pretty. I don't know. It's going to stay in timeout for a little while longer, I think, but I would be keen to hear your thoughts. Do I finish it or do I frog it? I do so love the yarn. I just don't like it. I'm just not sure about it in this particular combination of stitches. I've had nobody watching me, and I knit in public a fair bit, and they go, oh my God, that's gorgeous. What are you knitting? No, I get that all the time. Not once did somebody ask, oh, that's gorgeous. I've actually had to say, oh gosh, it's a secret, it's a mystery knit along. I didn't know what I was knitting. They just looked at me and went, I said, yeah, it's ugly, isn't it? And they, no. It's ugly. I think it's ugly. Is it ugly? Anyway, it's going back into this bag. I still don't have an opinion or any idea of what I'm going to do with it. Now I've got a knot. Anyway, yeah, keen to hear your thoughts. And look, there've been some lovely comments from some of you who have said, you know, that they're really enjoying the Stephen West knit along. There have been people who've said, you know, not really loving it, but, you know, using it as an end of year sampler. You know who you are. I've had people say to me, I finished it, and the more I knit on it, the more I love it. And others who are indifferent. Some who have said it's the last Stephen West knit along they'll ever, or mystery knit along they'll ever participate in. And That, I think, is how I'm feeling at the moment. But in true Kylie Gabudo fashion, I could change my mind. So yeah, I was so excited for it. And I've actually got another set of yarn that would be great that I have bought. So I've actually got more La Bien-Aimée yarn. Anyway, I've lost, it's sucking me of all the joy in the room, and I'm sitting in the room where I store all my yarn, so it's my happy place, and this is making me not happy. I think I've just answered my own question, haven't I? Let me know what you think in the down bar below, in the comments. Talk to me. Okay, shopping. So I have been shopping for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and I am so excited about what I'm pulling together. It's a very Aussie, very Australian pack of, and it will be one, I think it'll be one big prize pack that I'm happy to send anywhere in the world once I hit 1,000 subscribers. So I will continue to add to it for a little while longer, but I'll talk to you about that in a moment. But first, some shopping. Some of the shopping is for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, but this certainly isn't for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. This box of Yummy arrived at work the other day, and I am just that. So, in the interest of research, I ordered from Holstgarn in Denmark. Now they have their shipping is great and quite reasonable, but I figured if I'm going to pay for shipping, I will get as much as I can in the box before it kicks into the next tier. And the excuse I gave myself was that I was going to do that so that I could tell you. Community service announcement, you're welcome. So I bought myself some Holstgarn Coast. It's all coast, and I thought this might be really nice in a Marie Wallin cowl, or some of it could be used in a cowl, and they're just colours that really appealed to me. Now, I have the colour shade cards for this particular yarn base, so I'd strongly recommend that you do that. It's a way of if you've got to order yarn online and it's it's commercial yarn, you can often get a shade card. And because my nearest, well, I don't do in-store shopping for yarn ever, really. The last time I did that was probably about 4 years ago. So all of my yarn is bought online, and you will know if you've bought yarn online. Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a big miss. I find having the shade cards is a really great way to make sure that I'm getting the colours that I will like working with. So, all that to say, I was able to get 8 cones of yarn in the entry-level shipping category. Now that's for Australia. I don't know what it's like in the rest of the world, and I'm really only speaking for, you know, what it costs me to get yarn here. But I got 8 8 skeins. So that's enough of that. Let's talk about what we got. I got a cone of the candy that I'm using in my Faye top. I really like it's what I would call a watermelon red. It's actually not, it's a lot more muted than it's looking on the screen, I think. It has some lovely white flecks through it that make it look a little stone washed, if you like, and it is knitting up beautifully. So this is the candy colorway. This would be really nice in a half and half wrap with a pink too, or a charcoal or a black. I then got this gorgeous petrol blue. Now this color is called teal. Isn't that a lovely pop of color? Imagine that in a color work shawl or cowl or something. Half and half wrap. Oh, excuse me. This colour is called J, but even those two together are nice, aren't they? Blue on blue. Half and half wrap, anybody? So there's that one. Quietly put that there. I'm really loving this. This is Cassis. It's a lovely plum. That'd be nice in a cardie. So I got that one. I've got a thing about green at the minute. And this is sea green. Sorry, my daughter was ringing me. This is sea green. Just lovely. 4 more. Look at this, just divine. Divine, divine. It's a grey, this is putty it's called. So it's a cream, but it's a grey. But it's a lovely neutral that just goes with everything I bought beautifully. Much the same as this. That's just the crew. It's the same sort of, you know, even those two together look great. So that's that one. Got a tower of yarn here. This blue is called duck egg. Now, that's a half and half wrap waiting to happen, isn't it? But then, so's that. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's just so incredibly versatile. Look at that. The cassis and the duck egg. So elegant. So elegant. And I'm yet to finish one of these cones. So anyway, oh, look at this. This one is called Rosewood. Half and half wrap, anybody? See what I mean? It's just such a, oh. And then last but by no means least, this is called Army. Now I can see this in a Henley style jumper or a sweater for my husband, or a half and half wrap. Ooh, there's another one. colour's called? Petal. Ooh. So yes, lots of fun. So managed to get 8 cones. I'd have to be snuck in the house sideways, I tell you. My husband does not begrudge me spending money on my hobby because I don't begrudge him spending money on his hobby. But oi, oi, oi. That's a bit decadent. So that's really that's the only shopping I've done for me, except for, as I have been buying little bits and pieces of Aussie gorgeousness to share with my subscribers in this giveaway that I'm pulling together, I buy one thing and I love it so much I don't want to give it away. So I've taken the approach that I'm building my own 1,000 subscriber congratulations pack. Or it's really not that. Who am I kidding? It's just me just buying stuff that I really, really like to share with you, and I'm buying second ones because they're so lovely. So that I get to play along too. So far, it will be an Aussie yarn giveaway. So excuse the crinkle. Okay, this is just how pretty is that? This is yarn by Jane. It's called Yarn by Jane. Now, I've talked about her before. She is a yarn dyer that lives in northwestern New South Wales, not far from where I lived for about 10 years and not far from where one of my daughters is now living. This is a superwash 75/25 fingering weight yarn in the colourway Kissed by a Rose. How pretty is that? Let's see. It's got the peach, kisses of baby pink, mint green. It's just a lovely, lovely yarn. So of course I had to buy one for myself. Then I don't know whether or not you have heard of skein yarn in, I think she's on the mid-north, she's on the mid-north coast in, yeah, she's in Coffs Harbour. So she's on the mid-north coast again in New South Wales. And this is her all-rounder base. I've again got two skirts, sorry for the crinkle. All-round base, and this is an 80/20. And I thought the name of this yarn was most apt. It's called Tropical, and it actually looks like a tropical cocktail or a really good day out snorkeling on the reef, because there are fish that colour out on the reef. There really are. I've seen them. Not a fan of snorkeling. I always feel quite claustrophobic, but you know, my kids love to do it, so I got to watch a lot. So it's the tropical colourway. So I've got the giveaway. It's just a beautiful, bright, vibrant. Imagine that in a pair of socks. Now, if you've been watching for a little while, you know that I work for a remote Indigenous medical service. So we're a community controlled medical service. So I am very, very fortunate that I get to work with First Nations people on the daily, and working in the communications environment, I have the opportunity to work with non-traditional partners. So in other words, a very big part of my job is actually working with art creators and artists, Indigenous artists in Cape York and Far North Queensland. So all that to say, I was commissioning some work for a project that we're running at work, and had the opportunity to meet with a lady by the name of Philomena Yeatman. Now, Philomena Yeatman is an Indigenous artist based out of Yarrabah, which is not very far from Cairns, and she was featured in Marie Claire magazine just recently. An incredibly talented woman who does a lot of great clay work. So, as part of the giveaway, I purchased for my viewers, or one of my very, very lucky viewers, a notions bowl. Right, this is something that every knitter could use. It would get used. It's and this is a piece of Indigenous traditional art by Philomena Yeatman. It is just stunning, and I told her that I was purchasing this to send somewhere in the world, and she was most flattered and quite humble. Lovely lady, really sweet, sweet soul. So there you go. I bought one for myself as well. So that is a super special addition to the 1,000 subscriber giveaway, and I will include this little blurb about Philomena and her art. She's world renowned for what she does, so this is a very precious piece of, and it's made from local clay. So this is local Far North Queensland clay from the area where she lives. So there you go. This is the one I bought for me. It's just a little more. And again, this is local clay. So just lovely. Yeah, really excited to be sharing that with you. I'll put some nibbles and some goodies, some tropical foodie stuff in there, and some traditional Aussie stuff into the basket as well. So that's for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So all that to say, if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you've been back here a couple of times and you actually like what you hear and you see and you think, oh, I'm an okay chick to sit around and watch and knit with, please hit the thumbs up because YouTube likes that. Hit subscribe because once we've hit 1,000 subscribers, I will come on and do a giveaway for y'all. And I promise to be back in 2 weeks. I promise. Hopefully with some more finished objects. So that's it for now. I'll pop some footage of a couple of recent trips I've done at the end. If you're interested, there will be some of family wedding, and yeah. So in the interim, if you don't love it, stop knitting it. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll catch you next time.